Ladies and gentlemen, we are now gathered to induct the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But before I induct the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, I would hope you'd join me in a moment of silence for a good friend, somebody that's been a huge part of our CCW community over the past 3 years, and Mr. Carnage himself, Sean Duffy, and somebody that we've all gotten to know and love and talk about. So, if you would join me here in a moment of silence for our friend, Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has been, if you might want to say, a cornerstone of what Cutlery Championship Wrestling and Carnage Championship Wrestling have become over the past 3+ years in existence. He certainly held gold throughout the time of CCW, and he's had some memorable matches, memorable wins, and he's always done it in his own way. Always looking for a fight, always looking for a pint, and maybe everything else in between. And he even does a great job as a host in his own right with another One Bites the Dust, which you can always catch Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has accomplished a lot, but certainly wins and losses are a part of it. But I feel in many ways, Cutlery Championship Wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling, and even Coming Out Championship Wrestling wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, because he's always gone out there and represented the flag that we all know that Cutlery Championship Wrestling has to offer in the term All Wrestling Matters. When I think about CCW over the years and its impact in the community, whether it's honoring certainly the life of our friend Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, whether it's the young girl battling cancer or anything in the community, or most importantly now, mental health, which has impacted so many of us here in the CCW locker room over the past few years, and even himself, he's always been somebody that through thick and thin has always been there for us and has always made sure to fly the flag for CCW so proudly, even when nearly 2 years ago, when many here told this station on Sportswire Radio to stop covering CCW, don't talk about it anymore, and brush it to the side. As the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, where your voice of all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce, I said no. I believe in the word of loyalty, and I believe in supporting those who've always been there for us and been there for our community. And our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, our first wrestler from Cutlery Championship Wrestling, is the exact definition of that. Certainly going back into the record of wins and losses, there's no doubt that our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is absolutely the first person and should be the first person to be in our Hall of Fame, because if you go back in the record books, since those early days of CCW, yes, you can find it out there on YouTube, but since those days in 2020, he's certainly been as impressive as anybody. He's won Rumbles, he's won championships multiple times. A company he started, oh, by the way, 2 years ago, called Carnage Championship Wrestling. He's been their hardcore champion on multiple occasions. And he's beaten a number of different big names. A few big names that used to be big names when they were in CCW or wanted to be in CCW, but apparently when they couldn't cut the mustard, they now basically got cut down to a size or two, and they even had to try to reclaim their own championship, which they're defending in a little company that nobody even knows about. They're irrelevant. The point is, our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has defeated some pretty big names that we still know of to this day in Sportswire Radio's lore of CCW coverage, at the likes of Dustin Hard and certainly Jam Dog, and I definitely talk about Jam Dog as always. We always will, and A Dog, and a whole list of other stars that you've gotten a chance to know of here. And We've even gotten a chance to know him of late with his long-lost brother, Reggie Thatcher. And maybe some people can't tell which one is which, but we know one thing, who the bigger brother is, and who's the true champion, and who's the one in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But before I officially congratulate our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame in our fourth class, and officially our 38th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, I would certainly like to acknowledge our newest member here in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is certainly somebody who's going to make our Hall of Fame elite, certainly somebody who's going to give us a smile or two, certainly somebody who's going to be the strongest, the toughest, the most hardcore, and always do it with a favorite pint of his choice and a favorite mug of his choice. And I'll also want to point out that our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is certainly our best talk show host in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame because, as I pointed out, he's had the best talk show that there is around, not just for CCW fans, not just for Carnage Championship Wrestling fans, but all wrestling fans on Facebook, which, by the way, cheap plug, check it out Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. British Standard Time. But, ladies and gentlemen, I could go on about our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I'm even impressed with the fact that our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame actually dressed up. Because when I actually, as your host and master of ceremonies, the Reverend Tom Bryce, did this fit for the natural born fighter R.P. Davis, I actually dressed up like our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I was like, you know what? I got to be me here. But obviously, we're glad that he's always him. We're always glad that he's himself. It is an absolute honor to induct him. And I also have to point out, ladies and gentlemen, that I was actually one time a guest on his show. So I have to pretty much make him the first member that's a wrestler, an active competitor here from CCW into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I could go on, as I stated, about our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He's certainly done it all. He's run his own company. It's been extremely successful. He's also obviously held gold as the Underground Heavyweight Champion, one of the most important ones in the company's history. He's also currently the Intercontinental Champion in Carnage Championship Wrestling. We've got a huge show to talk about here as well. In 15 days, CCW Carnage 3. We'll talk about that battle memorial that I'm sure he... But as I've stated, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to officially congratulate the 38th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and the first active wrestler from Cullery Championship Wrestling in our Hall of Fame. He's the host of Another One Bites the Dust, the CCW Carnage Championship Wrestling Intercontinental Champion. His name is the Gentleman Thug, Ronnie Thatcher. And Ronnie, before I officially induct you, I have to give you that introduction that everybody else has gotten, especially the prior 37 members, and especially Mr. Barris. And I think, and I know for sure, that this was a better speech than the one Mr. Barris got, because Mr. Barris was kind of like going into his own drum, and he was worried about that voice of the color. But I actually have given you one of the longest speeches to date because you deserve it, and also because I know that our very good friend, Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, is looking above, and he's smiling, and he's here with you right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it and introduce our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the Gentleman Thug, Ronnie Thatcher. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, the CCW Carnage Championship Wrestling Intercontinental Champion, the host of Another One Bites the Dust. They call him the Gentleman Thug, Ronnie Thatcher. Thatcher, Ali forever. The champ is here. Congratulations, my friend. You're officially in the Sportswire Radio's Hall of Fame.
Absolutely fantastic. And can I say a big, massive thank you for acknowledging our fallen brother, Sean Duffy. Now, third year, February the 14th, he passed. I know for a lot of people, that's Valentine's Day. Time for being all lovey-dovey and all that crap. But with me, I think you should show your loved one love every day. So that day is my brother's day. So thank you once again.
It's tough, I know, but I wanted to. I felt, and we'll get to people. We'll say hello in a few minutes. We'll give out the plugs. We'll talk about a big show coming up. Obviously, you talked about it on your show a couple days ago, but I felt knowing this company, covering this company for as long as I have, and remembering when he passed away. We obviously were covering CCW at that time, and I remember it like yesterday, unfortunately, when he passed away 2 years ago. And obviously our hearts go out to everybody in the locker room. I know it's been a tough time in CCW of late because so many in the locker room have been going through mental health. Obviously Taylor has spoke about it. DJB has spoke about mental health, and the Big Cheese, the Tribal Cheese, of course, we acknowledge him, and you've put it out there, Mr. Barris. I know it's a very difficult time right now in the locker room about mental health and the impact it has, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the legacy of Mr. Carnage and just everything that he's meant to this company and everything for those early days. When I think about CCW and I think about the Mount Rushmore of this company, certainly you're on there. You've been one of our cornerstones. Dustin, for sure, our new light in the dark champion. And in a small way, Mr. Carnage is up there as well. And I would probably throw in there, Jam Dog. I would throw in there also as one of our, Mount Rushmore cornerstones. But obviously, I had to just give him that moment because I wish he was here. But I know he's looking down above at you and everybody else that's been here, the originals of CCW, not the left high and dry and tried to start some fire and basically there's no smoke, or anybody else that might want to try to pop a cherry or two. They ain't popping them because the cherries are sour, they're dry, they're spilt, whatever it might be. But is that we had to spend a moment in thinking about our brother who's looking down above us, and Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy.
100%. And like you say about those others wanting to light a fire, all they've done was burn their own asses because we're still here and we're still fighting fit.
40 plus shows, sellout after sellout. Carnage 3 is sold out. We're going to talk about that. And CCW is always recognized on Sportswire Radio. So what does it officially mean to you to be the Hall of Famer? What does it mean to you now to be in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame? And our first wrestler from CCW. You got ahead of your old nemesis, Jam Dog, by the way. Jam Dog is getting inducted Tuesday. I know he was on your show. You guys have had some back and forth history, so you're ahead of Jam by a few days. Got to be a good feeling there. Once again, you're ahead of Jam.
Even better, Jam. And I know he'll end up watching this because they're at a show tonight. And
at Alba, yep.
So Alba, not Alba. Arcadian
next week, and then it's right before that. Yep, correct.
Yes. So they're at a show tonight, so they'll see this later. And all I've got to say is, Jam Dog, unlucky.
And speaking of Alba, I actually do have to give a big plug because our friend UNG Mackey is going to be here next week. So I have a big slate of shows ahead. We have Hybrids coming back Wednesday. We got Jam Dog to be inducted Tuesday. We have UNG Mackey. So we have a lot of great shows ahead. So Alba coverage is on the way. We say hello to our friends over there. Obviously, we have a show before that here. Also, CCW is going to be back in action the following week. So a lot of great shows ahead. So let me say hello to a number of people before I get to some business. Also here, also want to say hello to Mr. Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest. He's also in the Hall of Fame. He is our 7th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. It's also his show, so he says welcome, but then he basically said congratulations. So we'll leave that at that. He's been to hell and back, despite our differences. He deserves his recognition, absolutely. And I really mean this, Ronnie. And I will come back to current events. And I know I keep harping on it in a way, but it really, in the speech, I wanted to, because a lot of people specifically said, don't cover CCW anymore. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just like earlier today on Sportswire, before I went in the air, we have a gentleman getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and somebody he wrestled. I'm going to mention it. A guy C2K, the guy was like, well, he can't wrestle, and he blew up in his match. Don't put him in the Hall of Fame. But I believe in all wrestling matters. I believe in going out and recognizing those who've put their body on the line, who've put their life on the line, to do it to make a difference. Do it to make people smile. Do it for the community. You've always been about that. You've always done it the right way. And I don't care what the people say. I don't care what other wrestlers and other companies say in the back. I don't care what promoters say in the back. We do things because we want to do them here on Sportswire Radio. We're here about recognizing people in our history that have come on here and have gone out there and done it the way they want to do it. You've done it the way you want to do it. And I don't care whether it was right or wrong. I'm proud to have you in the Hall of Fame. I'll have you 10 times over in the Hall of Fame. I might even induct the Elite in the Hall of Fame coming up here later this year. I believe that you absolutely should have been the first person from the locker room as an active wrestler to be in our Hall of Fame, because the records speak for themselves. The accomplishments, being the Underground champion, the Carnage Hardcore champion, the Intercontinental champion, running Carnage Championship Wrestling, successful show after successful show. You have earned this one. Congratulations. And I'm proud. And like I said, I will have you on my Hall of Fame. I will induct you 10 times over. And as a matter of fact, if anybody wants to be in the Hall of Fame, who I think is going to be in the Hall of Fame, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. And it's nobody else's decision. Just like it's nobody else's decision to say whether anybody's going through something, they can't talk about it. Just like it's nobody else's decision to dictate who should wrestle where. And that's why, yes, it is okay to talk. And it's always okay to talk here on Sportswire. So I want to say, anybody in the locker room, you're going through something, you message me, because I can rest assured you got my support, you got my ear, and I got your back. So obviously, let's get to some more comments. I had the great honor of refereeing his first ever title match at CCW. You ever thought or two on want to go down memory lane? Because I don't even know if I covered that with you years ago.
Taylor, that was some good times. Not good for a lot of the undergrounders, because, I was a bad boy and I kidnapped a lot of people. I did. I banged them in the back of the car. I'm not a gentleman thug for no fucking reason. Pardon my language.
It's okay. You're a Hall of Famer now. You can say it.
Exactly. I had a plan in mind. Look, I can't be fired from CCW because I've got an ironclad contract. That was done from thinking outside of the box, doing what nobody's done. And then I got myself the first ever title match for the CCW Underground Heavyweight Champion. And I thought, do you know what? I want something bigger. I want something better. I want the mouth of CCW, because you see there, he's called Lord Taylor on here. He is a fantastic man. Back then, I thought he was gobshite. Yeah, he still is. But who better to have as a referee than somebody who hates you because you want to prove to everyone, even with a man who hates you, you can still get the job done. And that's what I did. And he crowned me the first ever CCW Heavyweight Underground Champion in front of all those mugs, in front of all those undergrounders who hated me and all of a sudden love me now. I still don't care. You either love me or hate me. Look, people have hated me for a long time. Do you know what? We still sell out. You say that we don't know how to wrestle? Tell all those sellout fans exactly what you think, because they'll still keep coming, because they like to see what we do. I've been doing this for 14, nearly 15 years now. So I couldn't give a rat's ass if you think, oh, he can't wrestle. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that. Yes, I've been through a lot. I've made mistakes. Have I apologised for them? Yes, I fucking have. but you keep on going over the past. You know what? I'll leave the past in the past. I'll look forward to the future, and I'll look at good friends like the Rev Tom Bryce, like Taylor, like all the CCW locker room, like Mr. McGregor, who have been there for me. And as Mr. Rev Tom Bryce said himself, you messaged me. He messaged me to see if I was okay. Now, that's true friendship. That is loyalty. And we've got his back like he's got ours. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for reaching out. And to all the haters, go and fuck yourselves because I don't give a shit.
And you know what? I watched Fighter Strike 3, and the crowd seemed like they're having a great time. And it's show after show that people are having a great time. And guess this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm already tongue twisted. Yes, Taylor is about 100% right. I was about to pass out at one point when I did the speech. But the facts are, is reclaiming my voice, is that Carnage 3 is already sold out. Colory Carnage 3 is already sold out. So that tells you at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the outside noise has to say. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. The court of public opinion says that CCW is the place to be, and that CCW is continuing to be where the big boys play. Let me get to some more comments because people want to talk. Also here, Mr. Black says, yep, well, you know what? We'll certainly see if that Mr. Barris will no longer Mr. Barris, but the voice of the colory can certainly get to work with that. And just thank you, Taylor. Yes, and I apologize because I stumbled on my words when I said Sean Jovi, because Sean Jovi was somebody inducted in our Hall of Fame. And twice I caught myself, thankfully, and said Sean Duffy.
You did. You came out with it on top. Look, like we said, people make mistakes.
But the good news was I caught it. The good news, I was like, oh, exactly. I said it again. I was like, but that was a good thing because it was funny because I was like, you know what? I wanted to give you a good speech. I was really fired up for this. I was really preparing. So I'm very happy that we got to do that here. Good evening, guys. Yes, thank you so much for management for saying hello. I believe we can say hi, DJB. DJB, if you need anything, I'm always available. The voice of the colory says, congrats, Ronnie. Very well deserved. And Taylor confirms he kidnapped me and I still counted to 3. Yes, basically, you can certainly confirm that. And you can go find it out there on the tape. But, you know, Ronnie, obviously, I do want to talk about current events. But as I'm sure you're aware, we've had this Hall of Fame and, you know, we had 30 plus people. And there's some great names. There's some great names. But obviously, so honored that you're the first person from CCW as an active wrestler to be in our Hall of Fame. And, you know, what we do officially on Sportzwire, which I know, you know, you've obviously watched Mr. Barris, his ceremony and his show, is that we actually like to officially give something to those that are in our Hall of Fame. You know, obviously people look at it and say, well, how can you be a Hall of Fame? You know, do you do anything? Do I get something? And the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, I actually, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, those that are fans of CCW, I would actually like to give you something to officially commemorate that you are a Hall of Famer, and you can permanently say, yes, I have a physical living document that tells me that I'm a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, and would you like me to present that to you for those that are listening and watching here live?
Let me think about it. Of course, I want you to present.
Well, some people might say no. I don't know. Some people might say no.
No, I'm not going to say no on your show. I've been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, I want you to present it.
I have to be honest. I kind of like the almost like the tease of it and like playing around because like some guests are like, no, you got to do it. Other guests are like, well, oh yeah, okay. I had one guest famously say, what am I getting? And I'm like, well, that's why you have to find out. But yes, the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, I actually do want to present you something. So I'm going to bring it up to the stage because obviously we did that right before you went in there. You actually haven't physically seen this, but now you're going to see it because for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, there it is. Officially speaking, you are our 38th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. You've got obviously your name. You've got our logo. You've got the date. You've got my John Hancock, you've got my signature, and you got the actual date and everything else in my official title. So congratulations, Ronnie. You've actually got a piece of history, a physical living history. We've sent that to you off the air. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you accept it, my friend.
Oh, yes, I accept it. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you for putting me in the Hall of Fame. And number 38, that's great. I know you've got some great guys.
Yeah, legitimately speaking, we've got really some great names in the wrestling world. Dean Allmark, R.P. Davis, who obviously really got the Hall of Fame started. We have Luke Leyland, who from our country here in the UK actually fought in Dombay, which is kind of think of like Ronnie, you'd actually be great in that Dombay. Ronnie, you'd actually do great in this because you'll like this. It's kind of like a throwback version of boxing meets MMA. And he went to Nigeria. He was the first person outside of Africa to have fought in Dombay. He's in our Hall of Fame. We have a guy that played, almost, in basketball and in the almost professionally. So we have some great people in there, outside of our little bubble. And I really honored that you're a part of it. And I wanted to give you something that physically says congratulations to you, my friend.
It's absolutely amazing. Once again, thank you, Rev. It means the world. It does. And to be the first wrestler, obviously before Jam Dog, that's absolutely fantastic. And I know that'll stick in his beard. See, I'm not going to be rude or anything like that. See, because I can't grow a beard. Yeah, there you go.
No. You got the mug that everybody loves. No, you can't listen. People like myself, people like Jam, we're probably certainly the people you'd say, yeah, they got to grow facial hair. They got to grow it because you know what? They got to cover up their face. They got to cover up their head. You actually look, I got to say it, Ronnie. You do. I have to say it, take this whatever way you want. You might be the best looking of the Hall of Famers that we have so far because you got that beautiful face of yours. You're well dressed. You got the hat. You had it on. I remember as a kid growing up, he would wear that same hat. That's a beautiful hat you got on. You're well dressed. Always, Ronnie, I would have to say, always well dressed, no matter the circumstance, situation. And you do it obviously with class and style. And I have to say, maybe you're the best looking of the Sportzwire Radio Hall of Famers so far. So you certainly earned even more things, Ronnie.
Well, yeah, I have seen some of them like Barris and that. So yeah, I know I'm the better looking out of the lot.
I think you're definitely a lot more better looking than Barris. I think we can agree on that.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. And I want to say hello to some more people out there. How you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I know who you are, and I know you're coming on the show right before Colory Carnage 3. So I know you. I'm not going to say who you are, but I'm going to be talking about you very, very soon. So you want to stay tuned for that because I know who you are, but I'm not going to. I'm a gentleman here in Sportswear, like the gentleman thug Ronnie Thatcher, but I'm not a thug because nobody can be a thug like Ronnie Thatcher because he's been an underground champion. He's been Carnage Hardcore champion, Intercontinental champion. You've had some wars with him. You know a thing or two about him. But want to say hello to my buddy Craven Rage, the Backyard Nightmare, the ruler of the yard out there in WCE and IMF, and says, yes, you were awesome. Thank you so much for that. But, anything else you want to say? Anything else, Ronnie, you want to say as a Hall of Famer before we move on to some current events, obviously on this special day for you? Anything else that you would like to say to people out there? And before we move on to talk about some current events, which I'm very excited to.
Yeah, actually, I do. Do you want to put us on the big screen again?
I sure do. I would love to. It's your show, Ronnie.
Right. No, this is your show. I'm a guest. I'm a Hall of
Famer, Ronnie. It's your
there we
show
go.
Right now. The floor is yours.
Now, like you said, some people wanted to know, what do you get? What is it believable? Is it true and all that? Look, this man works his fucking bollocks off doing Sportswire Radio day in, day out. Always bringing you the best in entertainment. He's doing this out of the goodness of his heart. So you want to think it's fake, but then all of a sudden, when am I coming on your show, Tom? Well,
if we're going to shoot for a second, I'm going to handle this. I had a guy, because we have a guy that's being inducted into our Hall of Fame later tonight. And, obviously his skills, with all due respect to him, are nowhere near the skills of the gentleman thug Ronnie Thatcher or even some of the other people. But, I like to believe that people should be given a chance and, should be recognized at least for coming on the platform and doing their things. And the gentleman was basically trying to be facetious. I'm going to say it right now. It's not your decision. It's my decision. And I believe that people who are from all backgrounds, all walks of life, all things, and that's what we've done here. And also, speaking of, by the way, on the other part, though, about it being official and recognized, I'm glad you brought that up, Ronnie, because actually there's another way in addition that you're officially recognized in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I'm so glad that you asked, Ronnie, because if you actually go right now on to sportswireradio.org, if you scroll down, we actually have a list of all the members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, whether they've been DJs on our radio station, whether they've been certainly podcasters, whether they've been wrestlers of all backgrounds, whether they've been athletes. We have a guy that played here in the college basketball world, university, and overseas here in the UK, and he was in basically the championship game, very well-known player. And we actually, on the website now officially, you can type it in, sportswireradio.org. You're going to see the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher's photo and his information. So we officially actually have him recognized in addition to a certificate. He's now immortalized, you might even want to say, in being elite forever, as the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has now finally gotten elite because his photo is there stating he's in our fourth class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So it's actually official. Yes, you can officially see that you're in the Hall of Fame. So yes, I'm glad you asked that, Ronnie. Thank you for asking.
Well, there you go. There you go, you little bums who think that it's all fake and this, that, and the other. Do you know what? For all you little haters of Tom Bryce, of CCW, the gentleman thug, sit on it because I couldn't give a shit.
Well, I tell you what, Ronnie, I'll tell you what, real quick, we move on to current events. I certainly think the best win you had in your career was June 17, 2023, when you beat some guy who attempted to be in CCW, but apparently he did such a bad job in CCW that A, he has snow up his butt. He probably snored some of it too on top of it. And he actually did such a bad job that he wound up actually having to take a championship of his, which he probably bought for at the 99-cent store, the 99-pound store, 99-cent pound store here in the country, and had to make himself of a champion that's actually no longer existing. He did such a bad job in CCW that you beat him so badly, you beat him such to a pulp that he actually had to go back to his own promotion, which is out of business, and had to remake himself the champion, and then said, hey, I'm defending my championship, and to everybody, too bad, go cry about it. But meanwhile, he was defending a championship that doesn't exist in front of nobody. But hey, that's why he's nobody, and you're somebody. You're in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But I digress. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. If you're on Sportswire Radio, I thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow CCW, you have a number of different ways that you can do so, and I want people to do so here very simply here. First of all, Facebook at Colored Championship Wrestling. Over 5,000 members are in our groups. CCW Coming Out Championship Wrestling. Taylor's doing a phenomenal job out there, and Taylor's going to come back in a couple of months for our next show. I want to thank Taylor for representing the great communities out there. Carnage Championship Wrestling. You know a thing or two about that. You're our Intercontinental Champion. You started that company. And also, if you want to follow CCW on Instagram, you can do that here at Colored Championship _Wrestling. If you want to check us out on our brand new Twitter page, we're at CCW UKNE Caps Locks, and YouTube, our brand new YouTube page at CCW UK Northeast. Make sure you can check out all those great platforms and ways to watch CCW. Also, we have a Patreon page now for Colored Championship Wrestling. So if you want to get involved, support this company, there are so many ways to do so. And again, shout out to Taylor one more time. I know he's going through some things. And Taylor, anything you need, I'm here for you. You can message me. It doesn't matter. If you want to make fun of my mutton chops, you can do it. If you want to make fun of my intros, you can do it too. I don't care. You're always welcome to message me. You've been a friend over the years. I want to say thank you for everything you've done. Also, the great job with Coming Out Championship Wrestling and giving people a background of confidence and comfort that they can, wrestle and have the support that they deserve. And, thank you for your hard work there on that. And also, if you're on YouTube here for the first time, you want to check us out. We're on Sportswire Radio 6579 Backspace Streams, and we have over 500 plus subscribers now. We're on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. We're on Twitch now for the first time at Sportswire Radio. We joined that a couple weeks ago. Also, we're on Twitter at Thomas Bryce 2017, Facebook at Tom Bryce. Also, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have an internet radio station, Sportswire Radio. In addition to Ronnie's mugshot is there saying, hey, I'm in the Hall of Fame. If you have a podcast out there, if you want to play some live music, we also give you those opportunities to get involved, join the conversation. And I do that free of charge on behalf of the community to give people an opportunity, the confidence, and hey, wow, I can air my podcast, I can air my show. And, we want to do that to give back to people because just like CCW has always been about coming out championship wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling, but also really, to me, the idea of CCW is Colored Community Wrestling. That's what we do here on Sportswire Radio. We're about the community of all backgrounds, all walks of life. And I can't wait for Jam Dog to take his place in history in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But also note, Jam Dog, Ronnie got there before you did. Also, Hybrid's going to be back the day after, on Valentine's Day, nonetheless. So Hybrid's going to be. I have a feeling, though, Hybrid's not going to be in a Valentine's Day-like mood because he's obviously dealing with the tribal cheese. He's dealt with you guys. Obviously, you've beat him already. So, I mean, he's certainly going to have, in a foul mood. I have no doubt. He's not going to be certainly having chocolates and roses and a bouquet of flowers next to him. But we'll see what kind of mood he's in. And some other guy you probably heard of, you've actually had many wars with him. Dustin Hart is live the following week here on Sportswire Radio. So Dustin Hart's going to be back. We haven't had Dustin on in months, and Dustin's going to talk about his match for the Light in the Dark Championship. Well, a lot of great shows ahead for CCW, certainly for Carnage Championship Wrestling, also Coming Out Championship Wrestling. We're here now with the 38th member of our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the one and only gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher. I have a number of comments here. Congratulations, Ronnie, even though you're an idiot. Speaking, I guess, you know what? I shouldn't do this, but maybe, Mr. Barris, it's not okay to talk when you call Mr. Thatcher an idiot.
Barris, say it to my face.
Well, I think he's got to worry about Alfie Nerds right now, or what's going on with that situation with that. I don't know where they're going with that. That's all I want to say.
Well, Alfie Nerds, I know we're going to be talking about it in a bit, but he's in that Carnage Battle Royal with myself. So, Barris, since you want to talk tough, you little nerdy boy there, I'm going to turn him into a pretzel and shove him up your ass. How about that, Ben?
I happen to like pretzels, and I'm sure you might be a pretzel and beer person, but I don't think I'm going to eat that pretzel. So, Mr. Barris, that's all yours. That's all.
Don't worry. You don't want to eat Nerd's pretzel. No,
I think I'm going to stick to the pretzels I get right before I go into the cinema. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Also, I'm going to get to that Craven Rage. So, okay, we're going to talk about the Battle World, but I want to save that last. I actually want to speak about the Elite for a second because we were speaking about this off the air, and we're going to see a match, unfortunately, with a brother of ours that is no longer going to be with us here in CCW much longer after the 24th of February, which is 15 days from now. And his final match here for the company, for now, it would appear, Logan Black and Walker Wall Street. It'll certainly be an Elite-like match, I have no doubt, but what are your thoughts on this? And obviously, this is a match with a lot of heavy hearts, for sure. We wish Logan all the love and all the support going to the land of Down Under. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you expect here. And just kind of sad, though, that we're going to get to say goodbye. But one more time, we'll see Logan in the ring, who's coming off a very impressive showing in the Cutlery Rumble that we saw a few weeks ago. But obviously, Walker Wall Street and Logan Black, what's your thoughts here?
Now, Logan, he's been training his arse off. He has.
What shape he's got in. I remember the shape he was in to where he's now. And,
he's lost
a lot of
weight.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely fantastic. And all I'm going to say is this kid, Sean, tack him under his wing. He was like a father figure to him. When Sean passed away, it hit the kid really bad. It hit all of us bad, but that kid, he was used to seeing him every day. He was always there with him, helping him whatever he needed, just being there as the good kid he is. And I promise to look out for him. I hope I've done that. I know he's been on the phone to me a lot, but he came up to us and said, look, I can't be in England no more. I need to be elsewhere. I want to do better. He's got a fantastic opportunity in Australia. Now, can we be selfish and say don't go? No, we can't be selfish. We want one of our brothers to do well in life. Even though we want them to do well in wrestling, we want them to do well in life. And that's what this means. And he even said to me, he said, look, I know Sean wouldn't want me and you to fight. You took me under your wing, this, that, and the other. And I said, look, I'm not upset you've picked Walker for your final farewell match. Walker is a tough cookie. And do you know what? I'm going to be out ringside watching this. Nobody's going to interfere in this. If they do, then I will step on their throats and deal with them. But this one for us, it is a big goodbye. But Logan, we love you. You've got to do what's right for you, son. And if that means moving to Australia, we've got your back, and you'll always be elite. Farewell.
In a way, tell me your thoughts. This is kind of maybe a tribute match in a way for. I know the Battle Royal is itself, but this is kind of another tribute, really, to Sean and seeing Logan and how far he's come. And I know it's so personal to all of us, but I got to think in a lot of ways this is kind of a tribute.
Oh, 100%. And I tell you what, if Sean was here and he heard Logan say, I don't want to go because I'm going to miss all you guys, he would have swatted him right across the head and said, get your screw sorted, get your nut screwed on tight, sort your life out and go. It's a big opportunity. That's what he would have done. And I was close to doing the same thing to him when he said, I'm worried though. But he knows he's doing the right thing. And yes, both of the lads, yeah, I think they've dedicated this to Sean. It's a big farewell. It's going to be a big hit to the elite. And all we can do is just support the lad. And obviously the lads in the match. Walker of Wall Street, former champion, former tag champion, former British Carnage champion.
He just lost that championship. I mean, Walker's got, he's right now, he needs a win here. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Walker Wall Street has been here before. He's been a top guy, and he needs a win right now. I mean, and Logan had a really impressive showing. I mean, he was, I think, in the final four for the Rumble. I mean, he did a great job in there. Yeah. I mean, so this is a big match for both guys. I mean, certainly Logan wants to go out on top, but Walker Wall Street needs a win here to stay elite, but also kind of stay in title contention.
As well as he's just had a baby girl.
Yep, congratulations. And he had a birthday also recently. I mean, Walker Wall Street, I mean, he had a birthday. He had a birthday. I think his baby was born the same day, right? It was the next day. I think it was the next day. So, like, what a 24. Yeah.
She was born on the same day. I've got to say, the mother, Alexia, brilliant. Well done. You've brought Laura into this world. She's an absolute beautiful little girl. And I congratulate you both. So, yeah, Logan's got to think, hang on. He's lost a match. He's going to daughter. So is he going to be happy? But is he going to be still pissed off? So he's got that to think about. But what I've told Logan is you go out there, you do what you've learned, and just fight with everything.
It's a big match. It's a big match. There's a lot on the line. And again, Walker needs a win. Logan was very impressive. Maybe had one of his better showings in CCW to date. So, we'll see who really will be more elite afterwards. So I'm looking forward to the match. I have no doubt that's going to be a tear-jerker. It's going to be a show stealer, and it's going to be a match a lot of people are going to be really excited for. I want to say hello to somebody that you're going to be competing with actually in the 10-person Memorial Battle Royal. And that is the Tribal Cheese himself. Good evening, lovelies, and thank you to you too, sir.
Oh yeah.
Logan was stable in the Rumble, lasting from number 4 to the last 4. And yes, I agree. We just spoke about that. And yeah, I think the match will be emotional because it's the last time that we see someone in the ring. It's not because they're leaving to go somewhere that has no fire. They're not like they're leaving to go somewhere to a company that doesn't exist anymore. No, they're leaving because they want to have a better life. And it's somebody that we've loved and somebody that's been so close to us. And that's why it's going to be emotional. And, obviously Walker is also going to be wrestling with a heavy heart because he just had a baby. So, Walker's got a lot on his mind in the real world. And, so fascinating there. And Also Taylor wants to say he has so many adventures to have. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we hope to, obviously hear about those journeys, and maybe we'll speak with Mr. Black before he comes to have that final match here on the 24th. But I have to ask you about another match before I get to the Battle Royal. And, we
Yeah,
mentioned Mr. Hart's coming back to Sportswire. And it's been a while since Mr. Hart has come on here. And he's going to be defending, though, so soon, a championship he gained once again, that Light in the Dark championship. And I have to ask you, I know from afar, what do you think? You've certainly got a lot of history with both guys. You certainly know both these guys extremely well. Adrian Black and Dustin, you've had some legendary wars with Dustin, obviously, the CWO and the Elite, and back and forth with that. But what do you think here in the fact that Adrian Black has invoked his challenger clause here for a rematch against Dustin Hart? We're going to get Dustin's side of the story coming up here after next week. But what do you see there? I mean, is it almost predetermined that Adrian Black's going to reclaim his Light in the Dark championship, or Dustin Hart, you think, has something up his sleeve?
you know what? Even though he's a pret, Dustin Hart has got the heart. He pushes through everything. Now, I've had my battles with him. He's beat me. I've beaten him. I've beaten him more times than he's beaten me, obviously. But anyway, we'll go off that. Adrian Black's beaten me. I'll let mind games. That's one thing about Adrian Black. He's phenomenal with the mind games. And honestly, he used my daughter against me in that. And you know what?
I remember.
I'm just glad that Dustin didn't have that. So Dustin's going to go in there still guns blazing because he doesn't want to lose this belt so quickly. But Adrian, he hasn't just got his brother, Dagon, the Banshee, their manager, Lilith, breathing down his neck because he lost that match. He didn't do what he said he was going to do, and he said he was going to bury and kill Dustin, and he never done that. They take it serious. They do. And look, did Adrian go to the depths of hell again and then came back? And he done that so quick to invoke that rematch. I think higher ups in the underground have told him, get the job done or else.
Listen, it's a lot on the line. They say anytime, you know this, you've been a champion multiple times, you know how this goes, that it's the first time out for the rematch or the first defense for a champion is when they're most vulnerable. So
Yep.
Dustin's only been champion here a short time, and he might only be holding on to this title for a few short weeks longer because if the state of mind, and I'm sure, like you said, Dagan is certainly there. He's talking to Black, and there's no doubt that, listen, Black's got a lot of pressure, a lot on the line here, and I have no doubt that Dustin's most vulnerable now because, again, this is the first defense. He's only had the championship a short time, and again, you know how this goes. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure, I think, for sure, on both guys, but maybe so more in a sense for Dustin because this is the first defense. This is the first one out, more or less.
It is. Like so, when you're a champion, you've got that target on your back.
Yep. You know it better than anybody.
Well, little story you said about Carnage Championship Wrestling. Yes, I ran that. I did a boo-boo. I struck a cameraman because he got in my face when I lost my title. I did.
No. Listen,
it's
you know
funny.
what?
No, I'll laugh about
well,
it now.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll make you feel better because on Sportswire, we have a guy that's wrestling for a company. It's very sort of well known called GTS and Pro Wrestling, but his name is Obey.
Okay.
He came on the show and he pulled out a gun on the air. So when you said you hit a camera person, I'm like, in my head, big deal. I had a guy about a month and a half ago pull a gun out on the air. So at that point, anything after that to me, Ronnie Thatcher, it's almost like a walk in the park.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll laugh about it now because he used to be an old copper. Because he was a copper, he got with the higher ups in CCW. Yes, we have boards, and obviously they have the majority, and I lost my role as
And
CEO.
Tabby became the general manager. Yep.
Tabby Titmus or whatever she wants to be. I lost my job, and they gave it to her. Now, shit happens. It does. I had to go to anger management. I had to get a glowing review.
I remember this.
Job.
I think we spoke about this before. I know we spoke about this at some point. I remember it. Yep.
Now, I got a glowing review saying he's completely fine. His anger's gone. This, that, and the other. I got it signed off. I got my job with Carnage. But not only that, I got a gift. They have tag team titles. At first, they said, look, the show was supposed to be February 10th. Unfortunately, that's not happening now tomorrow. There's been some unfortunate things happening. Like, shit happens. It's not you fans or anything like that. It just...
Maybe Mr. Barris has, been preoccupied so much to the point that this voice of the colory has gotten so much into his head. He's got these problems with nerds that it's basically created total chaos, and now we'll have to wait. But certainly the good news is the gentleman thug Ronnie Thatcher, it's not your fault this time.
No. See, last year, Carnage ran like a well-oiled machine.
I know you guys had show after show. Yep.
Show after show. Now, look, these things happen. It's nobody's fault. But in April, so I got told I couldn't have my brother, this, that, and the other in February because he's still on tag, as he told you.
Yep.
That tag gets removed next month. So, in April, you may get the Thatcher brothers in Carnage now, if management sees fit. And then me and my brother are going to go for the Carnage Gold of tag team. And then we're going to go for the Colliery tag team gold. And then we're going to go for Alba tag team gold if they've got it.
You know what this tells me? You might be the unified tag team champions of the UK. I mean, listen, you might even be the unified tag team champions of Europe. Everybody was saying up until he lost the TNT championship here that RPD was kind of the British unified world champion. Well, not so fast, because it seems like the Thatcher brothers, if they get their wishes, in a couple of short months from now, could be the unified Europe tag team champions.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. We are the Thatcher brothers. We'll take them all one by one, but trust me, stack them up. We want any tag team going. We do. We're not shy of a fight, so bring them.
So I would have to, just not to cut you off, that you would want Dustin to kind of do a number on Mr. Black, because we know who's holding those Colliery Tag Team Championships. So in a way, you might be rooting for Mr. Hart to put a number on Mr. Black, no?
No. Any person that steps foot in the ring in front of us, we want them 100%. We don't want them moaning, oh, we got done over. Oh, we got hurt. Look, I've been hurt numerous times in my matches. Dislocated shoulders, dislocated knees, broken ribs, broken nose. I've still fought and I've still won. I don't complain. I've been beaten as well. Look, after 2 years, Jam Dog pinned me. I didn't even know. I was never pinned in CCW for 2 years. I know I'd lost. I was banged in a mining cart, or I couldn't get up for the count of 10. But I was never pinned. And I didn't know that until Jam said that. And I was like, shit. There you go, people.
We have a few people coming back in. I wanted to let them see the official moment here. But yeah, certainly we'll find out here. I do have some more comments. I want to say hello to some people. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to say hello. And if you haven't subscribed subscribe to my YouTube channel and support CCW on their channels as well. I'm at Sportswire Radio 6579. Hit that sub button. I think Dustin needed that victory. I think it's invigorated him, and he'll defend it for sure. And I'm going to talk to him next week. So we're going to find out what's on his mind, and he's going to return to Sportswire Radio for the first time. And I mean, it's been a long time since Dustin's come back on here. So we're going to certainly get Dustin's side of things. Fresh. Well, I wouldn't quite say it's anger management to the Hall of Fame. He's certainly done some things in between that. Thatcher's for Tagle. Well, you know what? They might even, if they get their wish, they might be Europe's tag team champions, the unified Europe tag team champions. As I see more people popping in here. Rico Justice, how you doing, Rico? Hope you and yours are doing well. But, speaking of that, let's talk about this 10-person battle memorial that everybody's speaking about. We got some big names in there. You're going to be in there. Bat Pigeon's going to be in there. Hybrid's going to be in there. The Tribal Cheese is going to be in there. We got some big, heavy hitters in there. And I'm curious on, what's your feelings on this? Obviously, this is going to mean a lot to you if you could win this. So I'm kind of curious, Mr. Thatcher, in this 10-person battle memorial that we're going to see coming up here on the 24th, 15 days from now. And tell us what you think and who you might be targeting, because there's some really big names that are in this battle royal that we're going to see.
Now, you say, who will I be targeting? Now, I know.
Who are you targeting?
I'm the biggest man to target. Everyone knows that. And everybody knows I'm going to be fighting and biting to be the best. Because the first ever Carnage Memorial Battle Royal, I wasn't part of it. I took on Hammerhead Smith.
Who?
In a last man standing match, and I won that. Now, last year, Colliery Carnage 2, I was injured and I was not allowed to be part of that match, even though I couldn't give a rat's ass what the doctors said. But due to insurance and everything like that, I had to step out and leave them to it. But this year, I'm fighting fit, and it's in memory of my fallen brother. So what do you guys think I'm going to do? Look, Bet Pigeon, I'm going to bite your fucking nose off. I don't care. Swear down. Rico Justice, you can come on and be all nice and all that, right? I don't give a damn who you are. You're in my domain. You're in my jungle, and I'm the fucking lion. So anyone and everyone, and that even goes for my little brother in there. Yes, my little brother's in there with me. So what we're going to do is destroy anyone and everyone, and then we'll even fight each other. Because that's what we do. We're fighters. So, all of you guys better get together, formulate a plan, because the Thatcher brothers are going to come in there and destroy. And I'm going to take that trophy.
Interesting. A lot you said there. And let me get to some more people here because they want to talk. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Baltimore Kid out there. I heard through a birdie that he interviewed somebody in CCW. So thank you very much for doing that. Mr. Barris wants to say Logan Black, the elite idiot. Well, we'll have to find out about that. And, I know that Hybrid's going to be back here on Valentine's Day, and you're not sweating Hybrid at all because you guys have already beaten him. So you guys are going to be not worried about him. You've already told us about Bat Pigeon. And then you've got the Tribal Cheese, though, who's obviously, though, his record in Rumble speaks for itself. And a lot of people think he actually won the Rumble, but we know Jam won it, but it was somebody else technically, but it was Jam that won it, but it was some guy that was trying to be a big red monster. But I mean, any concern with the Tribal Cheese and his size and his strength and how he eats cheese when he out of his pocket? No concern about that. I know you spoke already before about the past. You're not a jam and cheese guy. That I could tell.
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people will look at me and say Ronnie Thatcher's not a big guy and all that, but guess what? I've done the doors for numerous years. I was head doorman of a place, King's Arms, look it up, whatever. But I tell you what, right? I had bigger and badder people on the doors. So, Big Cheese, you get in my face, I'll bite your nose off. I don't care. You're in my domain now. You are good at battle royals. You are good at rumbles. I will give you that. But you've never been in the ring with me, Ronnie Thatcher. And trust me, that's a nightmare you didn't want to come true.
Interesting. And Rico Justice is in there. Obviously, Rico Justice is a man that's looking for a big win. He's looking for some momentum, and maybe he looks to make a name for himself. But the Tribal Cheese actually has a message for all of us here. He says, "I want hybrid in the Battle Royal. No one gets in my way. We have unfinished business since last month's Rumble." You all right with that, or you want to interfere? I mean, you obviously, you have your history with hybrid, but the Tribal Cheese and hybrid's going to be here Wednesday night. He was supposed to be here Monday night, but unfortunately, he has a scheduling conflict, and we're going to have him back on next Wednesday. But hybrid, the Pitbull, is going to be here, and maybe he's going to unload a bit on the Tribal Cheese, and maybe he's going to have a few things to say, and maybe that is the best strategy. Let those guys clear out. Let those guys take each other out of the Rumble, and that gives you another big win, maybe.
Well, look, Baby Bell and Chihuahua, you want each other, go for it. I couldn't care less. But if he's getting my face, like I said before, I'll bite your nose off. I don't give a damn who you are. Hybrid's already been in the ring with me. He didn't like it. I've seen the fear in his eyes. Now, I know next week he'll be like, I'm the Pitbull. I'll do what I want, this, that, and the other. And I was not scared, this, that, and the other. Yeah, whatever, hybrid. You keep telling yourself that.
Interesting comments there. And the Tribal Cheese would like to say, if the Thatcher step in my way of me getting my hands on hybrid, I will have to acknowledge you both and punish yous. Ooh, that's some strong words there from the Tribal Cheese. Tribal Cheese, chair to the table, like words there. And after what we saw yesterday in Las Vegas, the Tribal Cheese with the mood he could be in that way. I mean, you guys, could have some stiff competition there if that's the case.
Tribal Cheese, listen, you're obviously watching. So listen carefully, you mug. I don't give a damn what you've done. You want to go for hybrid, do it. You get in my face. Trust me, you will not do anything like punish me or my brother. You touch him, I'm going to knock you out. Plain and simple. You come after me, I'm going to knock you out. Plain and simple. And do you know when it's all said and done? You'll acknowledge me.
Oh, I think I heard the sparks that are going to fly on the 24th of February. Colory Carnage 3, that 10-person battle memorial, and you cannot wait to see what's going to happen there at the Battle Royal itself. It's going to be one for the ages, and your brother's going to be in it, and another guy, Johnny Flashback's going to be in it. I mean, Johnny Flashback was up in there against Dagan. He was there for the world title, and we saw what he did in the Iron Man match. He's going to certainly want to redeem himself for a bit. So I have to ask you, though, a question, as I usually kind of feel like I ask at this point. So if you and your brother are the last two, is he going to respectfully walk out and basically eliminate himself so you can be the winner, or are you going to do the same?
No. If he ever even thinks about doing that, I'll knock 10 tons of shite out of him. We don't do that. The Thatchers don't do that. Look, everyone knows the whole Ronnie and Reggie craze story. They used to beat the shit out of each other now.
I know. That's why I had to ask you to be facetious a little bit.
Oh, yeah. You can be facetious all you want, but I tell you what, it was a stupid fucking question, wasn't it?
It was.
For a fine fact,
it was.
We are going to fight each other.
But wouldn't it make life easier? But to be fair, wouldn't it make life easier if just he eliminates himself so you could win the Rumble and win the Battle Royal? I mean, wouldn't that be, make life easier on you guys so you don't have to go through that punishment, so you can kind of focus back on your obviously admitted long-term destination of winning all the gold out there as tag team champions throughout the country and in Europe? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense, though, the gentleman Thug Ronnie Thatcher?
No, because I don't want anybody saying, oh, you were handed to it. Look, your brother helped you. Or the same for Reggie. I don't want anybody thinking that. He's new to CCW.
Very
he's already
new.
made an impact. He's already
Absolutely.
made an impact.
Absolutely.
And we don't want none of this. easy way out. We want to fight. We've told Barris and the board and the voice, get teams together. And all of a sudden we're shoved in this memorial battle. What? That's okay. You want to do that for us? We'll do it. Look, if it's too late or not, get a team together and we'll kick the shit out of them as well on the same night and do double trouble. You know what I mean?
No. Listen, I certainly don't have any doubts about that. I had to ask it anyway just to do my quote-unquote journalistic duty there. But I certainly, wanted to at least think about this because we talked about that last time in the Rumble of one of you guys, because in that case, it was only going to be one of yous who entered, and it was Reggie who was the one who entered. So we'll never know if you had entered, would it have been different? You know what? I mean, the point is, maybe if you were in the Rumble, we're talking about you guys already getting a tag title shot. Maybe you doing something else. And maybe we're not even talking about Jam Dog. We're not even talking about Tribal Cheese. We're not even talking about Logan Black. We're talking about you as the Rumble winner. Because if you would have entered, I think a lot of people would have said, yeah, Ronnie, I'm going with Ronnie. I think Ronnie would have won. But that wasn't the case. But now you got a chance, the both of yous. It's almost, you guys have the best chances. The Thatchers have a 20% chance of winning the Rumble. Everybody else in this battle royal only has a 10% chance. But the Thatcher name, think about this. You're going with Steiner math? The Thatcher name has a 20% chance to win the 10-person battle royal memorial. I mean, that's a pretty good odds. You guys are almost the favorites because the Thatcher name has a 20% chance to win this 10-person battle royal.
100% there. Honestly, like you said, you want to do the Steiner math? Yeah. You've got 2 Thatcher brothers in there. We're going to take a third of them people out, then carry the 9th over the 7th, then add it by 20, then another 60 on top, take away 30.
Listen, Bad Pigeon's like half a person, so that's 1. Rico Justice, he's probably not going to be able to give you guys any justice. That's a 1.5. Tribal Cheese and Hybrid is the equivalent of like 8 people, so that means it's like 2 times 4 is 8. You got Johnny Flashback. We're giving flashbacks to a Back to the Future time machine. That's 2. I mean, I'm already up to like 16, so you guys basically are going to have more than a 16 times odds of winning this battle royal because of all the people you're going to eliminate or be basically the bodies that they equivalent themselves to. So I have no doubt that you guys are ready for some business to be sorted out come the 24th of February, which is just 15 short days away from that. And if you want to follow CCW and find out more information before we sign off here and get to some closing thoughts, a lot of different ways to do so. First of all, you can do them on Instagram, Cutlery Championship _wrestling, Twitter, Caps Lock, CCW UKNE, YouTube, CCW UK Northeast. DJB is doing a great job out there. Continued success with DJB. Facebook, Cutlery Championship Wrestling. CCW Coming Out Championship Wrestling. Carnage Championship Wrestling. This is how you get involved. Join the conversation. The road to Miners Mania is now on. We are looking forward to it. We've got this big show 15 days. And guess what? It's already sold out. Means can't buy a ticket, can't go out there. The only way you can go and watch the show is if you have an opportunity to subscribe to the Patreon page of CCW's Cutlery Championship Wrestling Patreon page. That's it. No other way. So make sure you get out there and support the cause. I got some comments here. Mr. Tribal Cheese himself was on a podcast with our buddy, Mr. Baltimore Kid. It comes out tomorrow. We look forward to airing it here on sportswireradio.org. It'll also be on Spotify. It'll be on Apple. It'll be on other podcast outlets as well. And thank you for telling us that. I'm looking forward to hearing that tomorrow. The underdogs are the ones to watch sometimes. I've proved my worth in the past, so who knows? Rico Justice may do the same. I mean, Rico Justice is kind of a wild card here. He certainly had his problems with Barris, but maybe, after his less than justice-like appearance in the Rumble and Fighter Strike 3, maybe he targets you guys. I don't know. Well, we'll have to certainly find out. But, before we get to closing thoughts and anything else you might want to share, is there anything else that you want to say to either your future opponents here on the 24th in the 10-person Battle Royal Memorial or anything else ahead of the event that you'd like to share with the audience and fans of CCW?
Well, in my closing thoughts, I'll talk about my opponents. But I know next week you've got Jam, so he will talk about Alba coming up
a lot
next
to talk about with
Saturday.
Alba.
So
Yep.
I'll let him talk about that because he
Do you
kissed
wanna talk
goodbye
about-
to the Carnage build.
Do you want to talk about, or do you want me to just let him ask the question? Do you want to say anything about that? Because Jam's going to have his work cut out for him. I mean, a lot to talk about that Tuesday night. That'll be 8 o'clock, by the way, 8 o'clock here, our time in the UK. We're going to be with Jam Dog. We'll have the ceremony, and I don't think I'll do as good a job as the one I did with you. And we'll talk about his current events. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now. Jam Dog's got a lot of stuff on his mind. I think he's even going to be distracted about the fact that he's got potentially Mr. Dagan. So, I mean, he's got some big things ahead in the rearview mirror. So maybe he doesn't hold on to that Carnage Hardcore title for long.
Well, he won't, because next week I'm taking it from him.
That's why
there
I
you
said
go.
That. That's why I said that in the battle royal.
I am taking that, and it's going to be on this shoulder. Actually, I'll swap them back over because that's why this is on my right shoulder, because the Carnage one was always there, always by my right side, Mr. Carnage. So I'm going to have the Carnage build, then the Intercontinental build, and then after the 24th, a big memorial trophy. So there you go.
How are you going to carry? Wait. How are you going to carry all of this stuff? I mean, how are you actually? I mean, do you have is Reggie going to carry your bag? Reggie, I shouldn't say it on air, but how are you going to carry the trophies, the belts? I have to know this question, sir.
Now you see, I've got a big belt, but I've got big shoulders. I've got a nice waist as well, a sexy, lovely waist. That another belt can go around. So 2 shoulders, a belt, nice trophy. The trophy will obviously stay at home on display. There you go, in my lovely bar. And there you go. But the more and more belts I get, I'm going to have to walk around with my arms out like fucking Jesus.
I'm trying to think. Kenny Omega was the belt collector during COVID. He had like 8 championships. What he wound up doing was like carry like luggage bags. Maybe you could try luggage bags if you want to do that when you get tag gold and multiple tag team championships, and then you win back your hardcore championship from Jam Dog. I mean, you've been synonymous with that championship, and Jam Dog can rest easy because focus on the underground championship. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. I mean, but you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to ask Jam Dog a lot about you for sure Tuesday. You're going to come up because you've already one-upped him on the fact that you're in the Hall of Fame before he is. And I want to say hello to somebody else that was just inducted to the Hall of Fame in the state of Ohio, and that was the guys from DKW, Dark Cryptic Wrestling, in the state of Ohio here in America, Middle America, and that is Mr. Darkron. How you doing, Darkron? He says, and afternoon, gents. Congratulations, Mr. Thatcher. You can follow Darkron and his gang on YouTube at Dark Cryptic Wrestling. They have almost 700 subscribers and great guys, and really enjoyed their story. In fact, they're actually your photo's next to those guys. Actually, you're next to Darkron and Matthew Forsaken. So actually, your photo is like right next to those guys. So I mean, it's kind of interesting that you're actually meeting people that you share a class left.
Excellent. Like I said, if anybody's got like pages they want to share or anything, send them over to me. I'll give them a like. I'll subscribe. Whatever. Well,
I would even say no, but you gotta jump in.
Yeah, I'll get my daughter to do it because I'm crap with technology. Look, I have to watch YouTube on the telly because I've had to hook it up that way. That's why I don't
actually, you know what? You want to laugh?
Tom Rice's shows.
You want to laugh? No, it's good. You want to laugh? Actually, one of the reasons I keep my Xbox Live subscription still is so I can watch your shows on YouTube. Another one bites the dust and everything else on CCW on YouTube now. DJB, I got to give DJB a huge shout out because DJB is like, I'm watching CCW so much more. I always watched it and followed, but now I get to watch every show, your Dagan show, your show. I'm watching it like right the same day. Like I have to look days ahead of time, remember? No, because on YouTube, I have Xbox Live and I can just watch everything like right when I get home. So it's great. So thank you, DJB. DJB, one day we're going to just alone induct him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for like modernizing CCW social media pages outside of Facebook because he's the man. I gotta be honest. I'm just saying straight up, DJB, if you're out there, I'm just letting you know down the road in a couple months, you're going into the Hall of Fame just because of the fact you've modernized CCW social media pages outside of Facebook. I'm serious.
There you go, DJB. You can thank me later. He's done a phenomenal job. I
Oh my
thank
God.
him every week now. Our lives are a lot better using
Much
StreamYard.
better. Yep, absolutely. He's doing a phenomenal job.
He's doing an excellent job. Like I said, I can't praise the lad enough because a lot of myself, I'm rubbish with technology. I am.
I remember when you were doing it the days on your phone on Facebook. I remember the days, going back to years ago, like you were doing these and it was like, I remember like the video being a little shoddy. I mean, that my videos, well, they've improved, but the points are is that, like we've gone so far ahead in technology with CCW outside, even with connecting with streaming, like you said, through YouTube. We have the Twitter pages up now, the Patreon. So DJB, it's all really because of DJB. So huge shout out to him, and I can't thank him enough. We're going to definitely get him back on here to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. If you want to see Ronnie one more time, Ronnie is officially, there you have it, our 38th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and you can check him out coming up on the 24th of February. Colory Carnage 3. He'll be in that 10-person battle memorial, and he'll also be there for the ceremonies, and you'll see everything else. Obviously, the tribute match also with for Sean, really, between Logan Black and Walker Wall Street. Dagan's going to be in action against the Lilac Region. You're going to see also here coming up the rematch between Dustin Hart and Adrian Black. We'll talk about that also with Dustin. Hybrid's going to be back. So a lot of great stuff. And Ronnie and Reggie are going to be in there for that 10-person Battle Royal Memorial. So a lot of great stuff here. Go to all the CCW pages. And also, TBK would like to say it was an absolute pleasure to chat with the Chet of the Table. You're welcome back anytime. And TBK, you got to get on Ronnie Thatcher sometime to your show. You got to get on Taylor Truths to your show one time. You got to get on Rico Justice. You got to get everybody from CCW onto your podcast. So go out there, the Baltimore Kid. I want you to message on Facebook, Ronnie Thatcher. After we're off the air, I want you to message Taylor Truths. I want you to message everybody in CCW to get them on your podcast, the Be More Talkative podcast, because in CCW, that's what we do. It's okay to talk, and we want to be always okay to talk CCW on the Be More Talkative podcast. So go out there, like I said, message Ronnie Thatcher, message Taylor Truths, message Walker Wall Street, message Rico Justice, message DJB, Daniel Baldwin, message him on Facebook, and tell him I sent you. Because you know what? I do such a poor job here on Sportswire talking to these guys. They need to talk to somebody else. I'm only kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. Don't take it seriously. But no, seriously, go message these guys. They should absolutely be on your podcast, and more people should hear the story of the Gentleman Thug, Ronnie Thatcher, Taylor Truths, Colin McGregor, Walker Wall Street, Rico Justice, everybody else, Prince Dagan even. And I want to say hello to our friend Jules. Cheese is very good friends with Jules NYC, because I know they're very good friends on TikTok. So certainly we know that Jules and the Tribal Cheese, Jules definitely acknowledges the Tribal Cheese being the Chet of the Table. And I know that the Tribal Cheese definitely acknowledges Jules NYC of being the apple of the Big Apple. So definitely we see friends uniting once again here between the Tribal Cheese and Jules NYC. But TBK wants to say anyone who'd like to appear on the show is welcome. Pretty sure James Barris is up next, and we cannot and will not be denied the best mutton chops in the business. I'm not quite sure about that. They're clip-ons. They're fake. They're like basically the equivalent of when Hogan had a goatee back in the NWO, and it was all a clip-on. These are all clip-ons. See, no, actually, they don't clip on. But be that as it may, Ronnie's drinking his beer, so it means it's time to get to closing thoughts. The Gentleman Thug, congratulations on your place in history in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. It's time to give you the floor. Anything else you want to say? I turn it over to you and fire away. And we acknowledge you now as our first active wrestler from CCW in our Hall of Fame. And now we're a little bit more elite. So fire away.
Now, anyone watching, especially the CCW lot and the Alba lot, you can now acknowledge me as the Gentleman Thug, the Hall of Famer, Ronnie Thatcher, from now on. Because I tell you what, I haven't bust my ass off for fucking years to not get nowhere. And to get this acknowledgement means a lot. That man right there has done a fantastic job, and it means a lot to me. And hang on, I'll put that down here right now. To those other 9 people, yes, I'll say 9 because even my brother. That's a memorial battle royal that you better be willing to kill me to stop me from winning. And I don't say that as a threat. I mean it as a promise. You better make sure I'm not breathing no more. Because I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to fight and bite my way to the top. Because that's what the gentleman thug, the Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer does. So I don't give a shit if you are the tribal cheese, the pit bull, A to the D to the O double G, Mr. Justice, a rat that can fly, somebody who thinks he can go back in time, or even my little brother. You're all on notice. I am taking that memorial Battle Royal trophy and I'm going to raise it high above my fucking head. Because if I don't, I might as well be dead. That's a warning to all them in that Battle Royal. But here's another warning to anyone and everyone that steps up to me and Reggie. The Thatcher brothers. I've warned you now. We're coming for tag team gold. You sign us up. We're taking them. Because we'll take them all one by one. You mugs.
Ladies and gentlemen, acknowledge the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, because he just stacked all the names that you're going to see 15 days from now at CCW's Colory Carnage 3 in that 10-person Battle Royal Memorial. It doesn't matter if you're A-Dog, who, oh, by the way, A-Dog is from the land of here, who went overseas, but still the D-O to the double G doesn't spell winning that Battle Memorial. Hybrid, the pit bull, who certainly had his own issues with the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, and came up short. Rico Justice, certainly justice won't be served when it comes to the Thatcher brothers. You've got a bat pigeon who might be certainly breakfast, lunch, or dinner when he gets into that rumble. Maybe there's a guy, Johnny Flashback, who certainly might need Marty McFly because he's going to certainly fly over the top rope and come up short in winning that Battle Royal 15 days from now. And then there's even a tribal cheese, a tread of the table, who everybody knows his track record in Battle Royals. But it doesn't matter when Ronnie Thatcher gets in there and wins a Battle Royal for a friend and a brother who's looking up down on him, and even his own brother Reggie, who certainly might just want to do the right thing and acknowledge that the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, is going to be winning gold after gold and have a trophy or two in between. And in fact, Reggie, you might even be wanting to carry some of that gold or carrying some of those bags because your brother, the gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, is a Hall of Famer. And that's a fact. It's not a spoiler alert. It's a fact. And it could very well be a fact, Jack, that February the 24th, 15 days from now, and yet another sold-out show. No surprise there. CCW's Colory Carnage 3. The gentleman thug, Ronnie Thatcher, is going to be walking away with, once again, another trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, you will certainly find out. And also, strong words from the extra thug from Tom Hardy's legend, Daniel Banner. Thank you for tuning in. We'll say thank you for tuning in. I don't know much more else to say on that. Well, I pretty much confirmed it for you. They're not a clip-on, but that's here nor there. But my friend, we're certainly looking forward to what happens 15 days from now. We look forward to seeing what happens with you. Also, next week at Alba Championship Wrestling, I certainly look forward to talking to Jam Dog about that. I'm sure Hybrid and Jam Dog will have a few rebuttals in a few different places, and I'm sure we'll speak with a few other people in the locker room. And I'm really excited, by the way, when it comes to what we'll see with Walker Wall Street and Logan Black. And I just want to say congratulations one more time officially in being the 38th member of our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And one more time before we sign off tonight, I just want to say, Sean Duffy, Mr. Carnage, God bless you. God bless you and your family. We're looking up above, and I know that we're thinking of you, and I know that you're with us. You're especially with the locker room in CCW, and we will never forget you. And as long as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce has a pulse and a voice, you will always be remembered here on Sportswire Radio. And you know what? Before I sign off for the evening, I want to say one more thing, Mr. Thatcher, if I could. Maybe one day, if it was all right with the family of Mr. Carnage, maybe we could induct him into our Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Maybe if that's something you could pass a message to the family. Maybe if that's something the locker room would think would be a good idea. But you know what? Let's go the extra mile on Sportswire, because that's what it's about here. And we know how much Mr. Carnage has meant to us. And we know in my existence here, in covering you guys, and remembering the day like it was yesterday when Mr. Carnage passed away nearly 2 years ago. Maybe one day we can recognize everything he's done for us and done for this company in inducting him into the Hall of Fame on behalf of the family. Maybe you can pass that message along, Mr. Thatcher.
I will do that indeed. And another person I know who would love to honour that, if I have a feeling the family will say yes, but I'll still, out of respect for them, talk to them. But to take that, I think it would be an honour for Mr. McGregor to come on the show, talk with yourself. It could even be me and Mr. McGregor, whatever's easiest for you.
Anybody's open in the locker room. If that's something the family, you can relay that message. Mr. McGregor, Mr. Barris can do that. If there's anybody in the locker room that they would like to speak that evening, if the family were to accept Mr. Carnage being into our Hall of Fame, the floor is absolutely open. So we'll wait to hear what they would have to say. But I want to put that out there tonight that, that I'd like to see if they would want to accept him being in the Hall of Fame for everything that he's meant to us in this company.
That would be absolutely amazing. I'll speak to his daughter, Melody.
Please.
Well, Mac, sorry. I will speak to his family on your behalf. And that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll certainly stay tuned for that. If you're on sportswireradio.org, you can check out Ronnie Thatcher's picture while you're listening to us. I'll be back on the air at 10 o'clock Eastern time to induct into our Hall of Fame Celso Luis Rodriguez into our Hall of Fame. But I'll be back here with CCW coverage Tuesday night, 8 o'clock with Jam Dog himself. Jam Dog will be inducted into our Hall of Fame. So you'll hear what the Carnage Hardcore Champion has to say and how long he'll be holding that title. Probably another 8 more days, especially if Mr. Thatcher gets his way. But until then, CC Dub, CC Dub, CC Dub, CC Dub, CC Dub. Thank you, everybody, and congratulations again to Ronnie Thatcher. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, and CCW has been a huge part of that. I'll see everybody Tuesday night, UK time, with Jam Dog, the following night on V-Day with Hybrid, and also UNG Mackey to follow as well later this week for next week upcoming. But good night, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sports Wire Radio.